Hello, in this video we will look at one of the granular synthesis projects from sound and music projects for Eurorack and Beyond. And this project is built, like several of the others, on the user interface project. But in this case, if we take a look at the circuit, there are just two rotary encoders, each of which also functions as a push button, and we have the OLED display. And in terms of the function of the device, the leftmost rotary encoder controls the number of grains in the sound. So essentially the number of samples that are used for that sound. Pressing the button will freeze that sound and repeat those grains. Then we have, for the other encoder, a speed control. So you can alter the frequency of the playback, and then an option for enabling or disabling that function. In terms of the setup for this device, I'm using the Teensy as a USB interface. And so if we have a look at the screen, you can see that through the design tool at PJRC, this particular project uses a wavetable synthesizer or oscillator, I should say. If I click on that, you can learn more about the functions of the wavetable. Then there is a granular processing unit, which makes quick work of doing a project like the granular synthesis. There are options for setting the speed and the freeze and pitch shifting and so on. Running it through a mixer, not really required in this example, but I'm kind of in the habit of doing that, and adding often more than one oscillator in a future upgrade, so that's something to keep in mind. And then in terms of getting audio out, it's just this destination is USB audio, and through the magic of the Teensy library, if we compile this code and set in this case, Teensy4 as a USB interface in the settings, it will show up in a DAW. And as I've mentioned in a previous video, I find that a really convenient way to prototype. You can certainly use the audio shield with some headphones, or in this case, I'm just running it through my computer as a sound source. If we take a look at the configuration, and I'm using Ableton today, and all I'm doing is using a MIDI channel to accept MIDI input from an Arturia MIDI keyboard. I'm sending that out to the Teensy microcontroller, and then I have an audio channel which receives audio from the Teensy. So that's all that's really needed to get a simple project going with the Teensy microcontroller. And again, I would stress that in this case we're not even using the audio interface. It's just the unit itself is functioning like an audio interface. So let's have some fun and take a listen to the granular synthesis. And I should mention that in terms of the code, of course you can download this online, but I'm using a custom sample, which is referenced in this header file. The sample loop looks like this, which are a bunch of numbers representing the sample. And of course I talk about that in the book. And then this is the point right here at which those samples are loaded into the wavetable oscillator. Let's take a listen. Let's adjust the frequency. Okay, let's try freezing that. And adjusting the grains. And let's try just about 30 grains to freeze. and so on. So it gives a good taste of the granular synthesis and some of the capabilities of that powerful audio library. And I hope you have fun exploring these concepts on your own.